Just give me a second, getting everything ready here. I was goofing off in the pre-chat, not getting my stuff ready. Alrighty. I think we're good. Okay. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I'm DM Foss, and tonight we have... Oops. Oh. Come on. There we go. We have...
And now, making his way to the ring, weighing in at 245 pounds, standing an astonishing 5 feet 10 inches tall, the reigning U.S. middleweight late night firearms champion, Guns and Barbecue.
Woo! I'm too wired than Mortato.
How's it going, Barbecue?
Not too bad. I was just admiring the little baby beard that I had going back then. So it was so cute and innocent. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Glad to hear it.
And DJ, how you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
And we have Baron. How's it going, Baron?
Pretty damn good.
Well, that's pretty damn good to hear. And let me take a quick hello to say hello to those who might be out there. PNW Woods. If you're going to be up, there's a link in the whatchamacallit there.
Gilded.
Wesley Foster is out there. And DJ is weeing it up out there. So far, that's it. Might be a small crowd tonight. That's all right. We're still going to have
you're getting
fun.
Corked.
Oh.
Yep. The corking should be over soon, though.
Thought I smelled something.
Yep.
They knew we were going to talk about Star Trek, right?
That's what I was about to wonder aloud myself. Maybe that was a polarizing thing.
We already lost half the audience.
Well, they
Pooped
just
on.
didn't show up. But so let's take a look at the poll, the last couple polls. If I can find the right tab. Is that the right? There we go. That's the right tab. So for the Let's Build a Rifle project, 16 inch is winning. And I think, should we call it on the 16-inch barrel?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way it won't win.
Yeah. So it will be a 16-inch barrel. So far we have, it's mostly Aero Precision parts with a 16-inch barrel. And I got the upper for it. An Aero Precision XL upper. It's a stripped upper, so I'll have to get, I might have all the parts to put it together. I don't know. So we've got our upper and our lower. And so we've made it that far in our build. I think it's kind of dependent on what other options get chosen later on. This will probably come in maybe about like $550 for the build.
Nice.
Awesome. That's the
Does
kind
it
of
take
numbers I
a
like to hear.
proprietary bolt carrier group? Or just bolt?
The bolt is the same.
Oh, it is?
The bolt face is larger, which I actually have a 450 Bushmaster bolt face. Because it came installed on my 300 Blackout for some reason. Yeah, couldn't figure out why it wouldn't extract, and it was stovepiping, and got it home, to give it a good look over, and then realized they had the wrong bolt in it.
But it was firing.
It would fire 2 or 3 rounds, and then either not extract or stovepipe.
I doubt an AK would do that.
Yeah. But so I just swapped out because the 300 blackout uses the standard 5.56. So I just got a 5.56 one for it. I think it is the same. I don't know. But so I have the somewhere in a box.
Oh, so 300 blackout uses 5.56 bolt too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's all the same bolt.
Yeah.
As well as I think 350 Legend.
Shows what I know.
Anything that uses the AR platform, that's not an AR-10, should all be the same bolt, just a different bolt face.
Well, 9mm.
That's what I meant.
Uses a different
Well,
one.
I don't count that.
Just saying.
'Cause that's yeah.
It's a cheater because I mean technically you got to get an insert for your magazine well, or you have to have specially made AR lower, which then technically isn't an AR-15 lower because it's an AR-9 lower. And well, it's 9mm and.
You can get those endo mags.
Oh yeah, yep. Forgot about those.
But so that's kind of where we're at right now for our let's build a rifle. So I'll order the barrel next at some point, and then after that we'll look at stocks. I think we'll look at stocks. But hey, we've got 9mm out there. Good evening.
Hey. By the way, I was actually having a conversation with her out on Rocall's channel earlier, and she had asked me a question right as Rocall was ending, and I didn't get to reply because he ended. Mia, I am all the way up by Erie, nowhere near you or Midnight, but I do appreciate the offer.
Oh, so you're real close to Ohio.
Yes, very. That's why I said I would be happy to accompany you to rally in Columbus.
We should do that.
I
That'd
think
be
that would
fun.
be great. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got to go straight through Canton. We can stop at the Pro Football Hall of Fame and kick in some doors.
I want to go up the CMP North store. Pick out another M1
Oh, yes.
in person.
So
I need to do that before they run out.
Are you close enough to Ohio that if you yell OH, you get a reply?
I like to do it just to mess with them because it's like kicking a beehive. They just start stirring. Like, where did that come from?
You go out on your deck. OH! Oh!
Well, the scary thing is, like, you think you'd hear that, but it's like just this roar that happens. It's you get the IO, but like I said, it's like a beehive getting kicked.
So this week's poll was best Star Trek TV series. And I had the TOS, the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager on the list. And when you use the pictures, you can only have 4 options. And I have not figured out how to add words. Apparently you can add words, but I got as far as adding pictures. But the original got 44%, Next Generation 30%, Deep Space Nine 16%, and Voyager 9%. Which I can agree with that. The Deep Space Nine is my favorite, probably, but I don't have any problem with the way these are ranked. Voyager is my leastest favorite. I am not a fan of Voyager. Even though Deep Space Nine is my favorite, I got kind of recently have been thinking about well, let's go to the comments first before I start talking. But we had Karen Woodson said, okay, Star Wars is really good. Not going to debate that, but I find myself watching Star Trek TNG more often than others, to each their own. And for those who might not know, TNG is the next generation. DJ Play Nice is running down the percentages. Says, give the balance to Scott Bakula and advise him to take a quantum leap, and gives him the middle finger. Music Logic says the way you listed them is the correct order. Mike says I may be in the minority, but on this, but never really cared about Star Trek. Caucasian Sasquatch said Voyager, like Star Trek Light. Artak and Daughters, TOS, all day, every day. Sergeant Joe Smith says everyone knows Star Wars was better. Baron says, where is Discovery? Blah. I haven't watched really any of the new stuff like Discovery. I watched the first half of the first episode. It was a 2-parter, and that was enough for me. Partly because I didn't want to pay for whatever channel it's on. And
Paramount?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Don't care. It is not Star Trek. They call it Star Trek, but it's not Star Trek. It's not the, what do you call it? The tenor of the feel is not Star Trek. The way the characters act is not Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. You know, they just slapped a Star Trek facade on it and said, we're going to do what we want. We don't care. I have not seen, people seem to like the Pike. I don't even know. Is it called Pike or is it?
Strange New World?
Worlds. Mm-hmm.
Worlds? Yeah.
But from what I've heard, it's still more of the non-Star Trek garbage, just with a more likable captain. Yeah. I had, like I said, I haven't seen them, so I can't really critique them.
Critique
them. I don't have any of you seen.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, does Picard count?
From the clips I've seen of Picard, that's also trash.
Okay. I'm only into the first episode. Started to get distracted by something else and needed to double back. But I did finish out Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, because again, since I've only seen clips, it might just be the worst of the series. But
in my opinion, what happened was they started making the TV shows like they make the movies. And the movies were not like the TV shows.
Well, the movies, you're talking about the Kelvin timeline movies?
I'm talking about Next Generation movies and everything after that.
Well, I don't know about that. Got to stay on topic. I was going to go off into the Kelvin timeline, but for like the talking back and the insubordination, it is a military vessel. You don't do that or everybody dies. There has to be a clear chain of command that everybody follows. Otherwise, people die. And you don't put up with that, with insubordination. And then I trace it, which I hate to say this, the more I thought about it, it all kind of starts with Deep Space Nine, which again was my favorite of the series, but
I hate that show.
the Deep Space Nine was kind of a reaction to everybody complaining that everything's too happy, nice, and clean. So they tried to go more gritty, but it starts shifting the Star Trek universe. You get the Section 31, which is like the Federation of Planets CIA. They're doing backhanded, in the shadows kind of stuff and aren't accountable to anybody. And then also Cisco, which he's one of my favorite captains, but he had I guess I can close that out. He had done some backhanded things and like poison the atmosphere of a planet to drive the Maquis out. He covered up an assassination of a Romulan to bring the Romulans in to the Dominion War. Stuff like that, which for me, it was kind of hard to admit that, the show that I liked was kind of the tipping point where it all started going downhill. What did you not like about Deep Space Nine, Bern?
Everything. Literally everything. Every character except for Worf. I hated the whole show.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Because I was watching Next Generation. I was like, oh, I love this show. And then I find out, oh, there's a sister show going on. I should check that out. I watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Star Trek.
Well, Deep Space Nine was a ripoff of Babylon 5.
Exactly.
It was a straight ripoff because the creator shopped it to, who was they, CBS? Is that who did the Star Trek? I don't know. But took it to them first, and they declined, and then created a series around the same idea. We've got.
I am also a huge DS9 fan. Although in the poll I had to default to TNG because that's where my heart sort of is, but my interest was definitely on that station. And the Cisco character, I mean, Foss, check in. What did you think about the whole emissary portion of that? The Bajorans, I mean, that was interesting, but like Cisco being the emissary thing, what'd you think?
I was okay with that. The ending was a little unsatisfying, where it's, he doesn't, after the the wormhole aliens, they stop the Dominion, then he ends up going with them, and it's just kind of he breaks with I forget the name of his girlfriend, says he can't go with her because he's got to go with them, and there's no solid conclusion. It's just the way I felt about it.
What about you, Barbecue? You a Trekkie?
No, never really have been. I literally just voted for the fourth selection in the poll because I thought that looked like the worst one.
It was
Voyager.
I mean, I've caught bits and pieces of Star Trek. It's just something I never took the time to try and watch. I think I would probably like it if I did. I just never gotten around to actually catching any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, BBC America would run marathons of The Next Generation. And I would sit down and say, I see it's on, so, I'll watch one. And then, 5 hours later, I realized, fuck, I got drawn in again. And it would happen every single time where I'd sit down to watch one, maybe two, and then be there all day just watching Star Trek. Sergeant Joe Smith brings up Tech War, which I kind of like the Tech War. I didn't read the books, but I kind of like the show. Does anybody else see Tech Wars?
What era was that? I was aware of the books, but not the series.
It was 90s, I think. Early 2000. Yeah, it would have had been 90s. I don't remember. But Shatner wrote some books.
That was my vote, by the way. Is the original series.
So mid 90s. The TV show was 94.
So same time is concurrent with DS9 then. I didn't know that. So right about the time TNG drops is when Tech War pops in?
Yeah, I like the original series. It's only 2 seasons, which, when you're remembering back, you probably don't remember. It's only 2 seasons and only 1 good season. And then the second season was Monster of the Week.
Wasn't it 3?
2, I think it was like maybe 2.5, but maybe it was 3. And then the third one was the bad one. I don't know. But it's also interesting that Lucille Ball was the reason that it stayed on the air at all. It's the Desilu Productions. Schmaggy 42 is out there. Good morning, Schmaggy. Or good evening. Somewhere so I think he might have crossed midnight, so I guess it's morning. Marcus is saying
3 full seasons.
Oh, he's been watching Black Sails based on Treasure Island. I've heard people say good things about it, but I haven't seen any of the Black Sails.
It's a good show.
That's a current production?
It's like 5 years old.
Okay. What network is that?
Stars? It's got like a Blackbeard in it. It's pretty good.
So you won the tactical quiz, Maggie?
Yes, I did. I blew it out the water this week.
Congrats, man.
It's nice. Last week, I just barely lost. If I would have guessed who was going to win the poll correctly, I would have won last week. But this week, I won hands down. It was great.
Patriot in the Dark is out there. Good evening. Joe Smith was saying Tech Wars. Where'd it go? I lost. There we go. Tech Wars was on CTV in Canada. Wonder if they produced it. Yeah. So made me a little sad when I realized that Deep Space Nine was the tipping point for Star Trek. And the whole Kelvin series, they're fun movies. I still kind of like them. They're not great movies, and they're not Star Trek movies. Those are the ones with Chris Pine as the captain. The whole way he became captain was bullshit. Honestly.
I never really watched Star Trek back in the day, but I do remember like the movies, the one where they go back in time to save the whales. It was my mom's favorite, so that's the one I've watched the most of.
Voyage Home.
There's a lot of people that like that one. I hated that one. It was all hippie bullshit to me. Going back to Save the Whales. You know,
Isn't that
I-
what
I-
Star Trek is? It's
all I
just
know of Star
hippie
Trek.
bullshit.
well, yes, it's
For
all
sure.
kind of socialist ideals, but still, you know, yeah, it's funny with the swearing, you know, and Spock.
Well, the comedy is apparent in that one. I did enjoy that one quite a bit. I mean, you know, when they're on the bus and the punk rockers doing the thing with his boom box and, you know, take care of business there, and the whole Scotty talking to the mouse and, you know, trying to create transparent aluminum and whatnot. I mean, yeah, it was a little hippy dippy. But yeah, I enjoyed that one as well.
G-Webs, go to the Gilded. It's in the where is it at in Gilded?
It's a
I will
channel that
have to go
says
there.
Mouth Party links or something, or after overnight links.
StreamYard links.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Gilded. Patriot of the Dark's talking about the Captain Pike from the because Captain Pike was the original captain and the pilot, and then they brought in Shatner and then used the pilot as the first episode for Star Trek. They split it up into two, and he was in the chair and had the little light, once for yes, twice for no. Beep, beep.
Oh, is that where that came from on Futurama?
Yeah.
And that's woven into
Once for guilty, twice for not guilty, and they go beep beep, and he goes double guilty.
Yeah, I don't know if I have. Just trying to find picture I did for oh, sorry, Iron Road. We are fold up. Oh, Baron jumped out. Let you in. How's it going?
Did Baron leave? Oh,
Well, he's just in the back, so he can still hear us and everything.
well, I didn't mean to kick him out.
No, I just I'm using the free one, so I'm limited to 6 people
Oh, okay.
because I'm cheap.
Nothing
but,
wrong with that, man. Trying to save money. I mean, I'm trying to save money too.
But he can still hear us and all that.
I'm only here for a little bit. He can jump back in once I drop out. Just playing with the dog for a bit.
But for let me.
Foss, go ahead and drop me for a little while. I'm messing around with a few things right now. I'm a little distracted anyways.
Okay, if that's what you want. Get the fuck out. There we go.
Damn. Us just does him like that.
He
So
don't watch
long,
Star Trek
thank you.
anyway, right?
Well,
Oh.
he can't see it, so he only
Okay.
listens to it.
Heck, I think I wasn't even a glimmer in my mom's eye when Star Trek came out.
But this was for May the 4th, which I don't think anybody really got, because that's Pike with Anakin. He's got the beep. But it was funny to me.
I always like the ones where they mix all this stuff and it's like, may the odds be ever in your favor, Harry Potter. And there's like I'm sure a Luke Skywalker or something, like just messing up all of the things.
Oh dear God! Just the thought of dark Anakin Skywalker when it came to the younglings, just tearing up crap in Hogwarts.
Would you rather have a lightsaber or a phaser?
Phaser.
Saber.
I think a phaser, because you could either vaporize crap or you could stun it.
Well, I can shoot you from farther away than you can stab me.
Can a lightsaber block a phaser blast?
I mean, it's able to stop force lightning and deflect
And it can bounce it
blaster
right
bolts.
back at you.
I would think so,
Right
yeah.
back.
'Cause it's energy weapon. That's what I've seen.
Somebody throws a laser blast at you, all you got to do is twirl your lightsaber around and it bounces right back at them.
What would a Jedi do if he used a shotgun?
Well, in the I can't remember the name of the newer crappy ones. Kylo Ren, he stopped a blaster bolt in midair.
I mean, I don't think they have shotguns in the Star Wars universe, right? Because it was a long time ago or whatever, galaxy far, far away. So because it's a long time ago in the past, they haven't invented gunpowder yet.
I could tell you that the stormtroopers will probably start hitting at least 20% of their targets.
Shotgun blasters.
I think the Tusken Raiders used real guns that shot projectiles, didn't they?
Ooh, it look. You might be right.
Yeah, those weren't energy weapons.
Yeah, because there's no flash on those.
Wouldn't that be funny? The Jedi gets killed by a Tusken Raider with a blunderbuss. Just rips him in half.
There was a
But this
gun,
is Star Trek chat.
There-
Oops.
there was a gun store, I think, that defended itself after Hurricane Katrina with the blunderbuss.
Nice.
Just seeing that big old freaking cast iron or steel funnel leading to forever sleep.
So if the National Guard shows up to confiscate your firearms, you're like, I don't have any. It's black powder. It's not a firearm.
I would say that's just a that's just a prop.
Yeah, it's a wall hanger.
That's always something that mystified me, is how you could buy a black powder and have that like the do-it-yourself kits, and even just have complete rifles mailed to your door like that. And then I asked when I was stationed out at Whidbey Island, I asked Green's Gun Shop up there at Whidbey Island, asked why is that? And she said the owner said, well, because the ATF has a hard time trying to decide what's a gun and what's not.
I've been to Whidbey Island a couple times for the air show out there.
Oh, they've had air shows out there? I know
Yeah.
they had Hydros for Heroes, but I didn't know they had air shows.
Yeah, but that's back 90s.
I suppose it would make sense because they probably had maybe they had a couple of Blue Angels planes out there from time to time.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it other than I know they had a F-117, the Aardvark, whatever the number.
Oh, okay.
So they had the big ladder so you could go up and look in the cockpit and stuff.
It was real cool though when I got my basic training out there at Pensacola, because that's what the airfield. That's where the Blue Angels were stationed, so you kind of get a free air show, and they had some like decommissioned Blue Angel planes just laying around, so you could. No, they're the F-18 Hornets.
Oh,
And you could walk up to them and see the paint jobs. And matter of fact, before I left my command, before getting discharged out of the Navy, one of my best buddies, second class airframer, he got accepted into maintaining the F-18s out there in Florida.
The ones that are just sitting there, you can go up and just fly them since nobody's using them.
No, they're the ones that are decommissioned. They just I remember when at A school we had to go and report for early in the morning for fire school training, and they weren't using these particular ones for fire school, but they were secured behind fences and stuff, and they were just waiting to be sent to the boneyard because there's only a certain amount of flight hours that you can fly a plane before you're kind of risking, having the airframe just shear apart when you're trying to fly at Mach 90 to get back to the boneyard.
I still kind of prefer the A4 Blue Angels.
Oh yeah, the Sky. I think they call it the Skyraider or the A4 Intruder.
No, the
Jayhawk.
Yeah, those ones. But that might just be those. That's what was flying when I was little when I first saw them.
Yeah, I've seen those actually when I was out there at A school, and they're mostly training planes now. Loud as hell though, because they kept me up all night, and eventually after leaving A school, I found a way to cope with hearing jet noise when I'm sleeping.
Help me out. What is A school?
A school? Apprenticeship. It's basically. It's like for Army, they call it AIT school. Marines and Navy guys, we call it, as well as Coast Guard, we call it A school. Air Force, they call it tech school. I think.
Yeah, it's what you go to after boot camp when you get assigned to a rate, right?
Yes, once you get, and it's not even when you're assigned a rate. You can pick your contract too when you're at the recruiter's office. It's when you're undesignated is when you have to go and strike for a rate, and then after you completed your basic rate indoctrination at wherever that's going to be, you then get sent off to your command, and you can what's it called? You could potentially get sent off to C school, an event, and I was before I was going to go to my first command, I got sent off to a C school attached to CNATU Whidbey Island. We're going to BP-40, and it was back when they still had the P-3 Orions.
This is the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, we saw a couple of those flying about. Not with the slick paint job though. They still had the classic gray, matte finish, navy look.
So PNW Woods was brought up Red Dwarf. Anybody else seen Red Dwarf?
Huge fan. Have seen all of the seasons, all of the specials, so many times. Really dig it.
I wonder where my name comes from.
Is that really?
That's exactly where it comes from.
That show? There's a snowman in that show?
There's not a snowman in that show, but they use basically calling everyone like Smeghead as a insult. And that was my original gamer name, and everyone just started calling me Smeggy, and I was like, "Oh, that's a better name." And I changed it to that.
I've seen all the seasons and really liked it. I think the early seasons were better before they had money, before they leaned on special effects so much. But there's a lot of shows kind of like that. Mystery Science Theater 3000 was kind of like that. The earlier seasons were a little better when it was, before they had money.
I agree. When they had to rely on scripting more and the character arcs were being defined because they didn't write out a whole bunch of seasons kind of thing. They weren't all that well developed and didn't know if they were going to get, re-upped kind of thing. And I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, once the people in Red Dwarf, once they got off like the main ship, what was the Starbug or whatever they went into?
Yeah,
but it was better when they were on like the original thing.
Isn't that a metric show?
Yeah, it's British.
Did G-Webs just mute himself mid-sentence?
Yeah, when the nanobots rebuilt the Red Dwarf and it was short, and they brought back the crew members, it was it was still kind of funny, but not quite the same.
Ian Woods makes a pretty funny comment. If a red shirt fights a stormtrooper, does anyone die?
I think the red shirts would, right? I mean,
That's their duty.
But could a stormtrooper shoot them? Though?
I think the bad luck of the red shirt outweighs the bad aim of the stormtrooper.
If there's a different color, if there's a different color shirt that the stormtrooper's supposed to hit, the red shirt's going to die.
Yeah, that's true. There has to be like regular people also, and then the red shirt would be the only one that gets hit.
That's when they become a magnet.
Yeah, that also the Federation, their security forces always get their ass kicked. Every ship, they get their ass kicked. They suck.
You think that they would invest into some more, experienced personnel and ship's crew trying to keep people from boarding the ship and hitting the damn target?
That and the Federation ships are so easy to hack. Any species, whether they have any experience on a Federation type starship, can take it over.
Basically, if you know how to open up Task Manager, you can hack the Federation ship.
So you take one of these deals where they freeze you, or I don't know, like dehydrate you or something when you're about to die, and then they wake you up in the future, and you wake up in one of the medical bays, and you're on some version of the Enterprise in the future, and they're like, "Yeah, we figured out how to make fix you up or whatever. You're good to go." And then you go over and look at the control panel, and it's all based on Windows. It's like the Enterprise is like Windows 35 or something.
Windows Vista.
Windows Enterprise. And that's why they keep getting messed up. Like, hey, fire all the. Oh no, got to start over. Hold on, I got to restart the Enterprise.
Hold on, Control Alt Delete.
Blue screen, blue screen, blue screen.
Yes, the blue screen of death. On to memories.
That's why you can't ever get the engines running. It's like the drivers are bad.
You have to update your drivers.
Yeah, like how shit, we didn't update the drivers before we left the last space station. We're never going to get to the next place.
Hold on, Windows. Star Trek Windows wants to do an update.
Oh, those forced updates are the worst. Right when you gotta finish something that you gotta get done by midnight, and you're waiting to the last minute, and your computer takes a half hour to restart. That happened to me in school all the time.
Thank you, Baron. I told you, DA. I was not kidding. So, all the stuff that I forgot to say at the very beginning. There's a banner at the bottom, so you can send in pictures, comments, suggestions, or whatnot. If you watch this in replay, you can leave a comment. Anything that we talked about, add to the conversation. Anything you think we got right or you think we got wrong, let me know. The goddamn bacon's out there. It says, well, Star Trek Enterprise had a decent security team and eventually brought on AACO team. What's the AACO team?
Advanced away. Something. Command. I don't know what O is. I think one of the deals is depending on how old you are, like back in the day, if you experience these things in real life, in real time or whatever, so you had to wait for the movies to come out before there was cable or anything like that. And you had to wait for the movies before there was internet and all that kind of stuff. And then it was access, right? Like there was a time before there was VHS tapes where both of these things existed. So Star Trek was there every time there was a rerun. They were on constantly, and there was no such thing as a new Star Trek. They were all made in the 60s, and all we ever did was watch reruns. But then they started making those, I guess it was Next Generation, the next new Star Trek. So whenever that happened, that started all the different series. And then there was Star Trek on TV all the time. Like literally a new series happening always, and then the reruns of the last series and the original series. And then there was that cartoon floating around. So you could see Star Trek anytime you wanted almost. And Star Wars, unless you had like the DVD or the VHS or something, you could watch it and it was a movie, but there was no series and stuff until like Netflix and internet, right? Like there was no Star Trek cartoons back in the days of cable, I don't think. So that has to be an element where some people like only having, cake once in a while, and some people like eating filthy pie every day.
So he met the MACO, the military advanced military assault command operations. MACO. Did anybody else watch the cartoon, that Star Trek cartoon?
Remember watching it, but it's not like it's easy to find. I guess you could probably find it on YouTube.
I've seen one.
Saw it on a VHS collection.
It was not great.
No, I watched it. It was probably like ran on Saturday mornings or something when I watched it. But the only thing I remember about it is they fought Quetzalcoatl.
It was the kind of cartoon that would be, because it was from the olden days, so it would be like before the real cartoons, like the new cartoons. It would be on like at 6 a.m. when the Corn Report was on or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a late 60s cartoon, so it's kind of a slower pace. Woods is saying it was terrible. Uncle Jim too's out there. He heard your filthy pie and wanted in.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump out. You guys have a good night. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for jumping in, though.
All right, Michael.
Thanks for winning.
Thanks for coming.
Go easy.
Yeah, Drew, thanks for putting on the technical quiz. That was awesome. And I'm not saying that just because I won, but it was definitely fun.
Belly rubs for the puppies.
This entire conversation is reminding me that I bought a Star Trek game about 2 months ago, and I haven't played it once.
When I saw there was, first time I saw there was, Star Trek computer game, I really wanted to play it, but I knew I wouldn't enjoy it.
Are you talking about the Words one from back in the day?
This is called Star Trek Away Team, I think it is. Basically, you beam down to like a map, and then you have to fight aliens. Like you fight the
I
Borg.
remember a Star Trek one in the days of like, it would just be words on the screen, and it would be like, you've encountered an alien, and then you would type in there like, so I punch him in the face, and then it goes, now the alien zapped you with a gun, and then I ran away. Like you'd have to type in stuff, and it would respond.
Oregon Trail.
I played that text interaction.
Oregon Trail to the Stars.
No graphics at all. Well, maybe there was a page graphic thing, but it was all, I forget what it was, like a choose your own adventure on its computer.
So what does it mean that when Baron said that he got a Star Trek game, that first place my head went was a Star Trek board game, not video game?
Mine did too, barbecue.
Okay, well,
Like I was gonna say, like, oh, a board game.
Is there
I
a
wasn't
Star
thinking
Trek,
about bid.
is there a Star Trek trains?
oh, I'm sure there is. It would not surprise me in the least. I've never come across them, but yeah, it would not surprise me.
What
Darth
do you guys-
Vader.
Yeah. It's a VFA 209. I thought I had something space related in my Navy days, though. They're called the VFA 209. They're called the Star Warriors, and they use Darth Vader as their mascot.
Really?
Wicked.
Is that pilot's call sign Vader?
Call signs are something that are more organically developed, rather than like give them just because of the command's name. But,
Usually-
Because I saw Vader written on the side of the plane.
Well, usually the name will be under the cockpit.
oh yeah,
Right
it'll be
where they
right
sit.
underneath the command window. Like, let's see here if I could find a photo.
And I thought this was a family show.
Let's see. Memory.
So it's the Cancer Mouse. Ting Ting's out there. Good evening. And Joe Smith is putting the hashtag for foul territory number 17 out there.
I like it.
Which actually,
Let's share.
there was going to be a giveaway tonight.
Oh snap!
And it was,
Yeah.
it's MP 17 for tonight.
Hey, congratulations.
So, yeah, dig out. I figured it's probably time to give this away. We'll give away a Smith & Wesson.
Hey.
So,
Is that the
Hashtag-
Hillary Hall?
no, this one does not have a Hillary Hall.
Nice.
But so MP 17, hashtag MP 17, and we'll do a drawing a little bit later for this. You don't know what it is. Ha, ha, ha.
Is the panel allowed?
It's a knife.
Everyone is eligible.
He rolled up his credit card bill and put it in that box, and then you get it, and then you got to pay his credit card bill.
So does
Yeah.
that knife have one of those fancy Smith & Wesson safety locks that they were putting on those?
Nope. It has a snap lock on it for the sheath.
Nice.
You can
Lanyard
hear it
loop.
here. Sounds like this.
Sounds
like
like a
it.
robot parrot, if I've ever heard one.
Tactile.
Find it under the cockpit.
Yeah, right there. It's kind of faint. You can barely kind of see it. I'm kind of zoomed in. I don't know if you guys could see it. Oh, I'm zoomed in. Yeah. It's very faint there, under where my mouse is going over.
Yeah. So, and if it's Jet
And this
with
is
the co-pilot, there'll be
and
one
this-
for him.
And this is the Super Hornet, so it's an electronic attack. So it's got this is the, granted because it's got all the fancy stuff painted on it. This is going to be the commander's bird. So he's got the commander will be either be the pilot. Generally, usually is the pilot, and then you got your navigator and electronic attack. That runs all this fun stuff. As a matter of fact, I could barely make out CDR, so this is probably the CO and this is probably the XO that flies. Very nice bird though too. They take a lot of pride in keeping that thing slick. All the maintainers do.
Have you ever seen it transform into a robot?
No, I haven't seen them transform into a robot, but I really do wish that there was one with an R2D2 on it.
I've heard guys complain that they're fuel hogs.
Oh, the Super Hornets.
Yep.
That's why I don't know one.
I don't know about the 18s, like the regular Legacies and all the other ones, but like the Super Hornets in particular, they probably are fuel hogs because they're basically a lengthened regular Hornet, and they have all that electronic attack that they've just taken off of the EA6B Prowlers and slammed it into a Hornet. And so you got all that additional weight and stuff that's just in there. EA6B Prowlers, they were definitely a loud aircraft.
How so?
The fact that the two on the engines on them, they're a lot bigger, and they used two of them on the Prowlers, just like the Hornets, except just for the basic fact that they're bigger. And I could tell you, it's almost like having like standing near an A380 in a way. If you ever know what that is, an A380 is one of those failed investments on the aviation side of making double-decker airplanes.
And so, who was the manufacturer of the engines for that?
For the Prowlers or the Growlers?
The Prowler.
Here.
Well, either, both.
Grumman, they're Grummans, aren't they?
Grumman. All right.
I would assume, yeah. Let's see here. A 6B Prowler. Yeah, they use a Pratt and Whitney J52 engine, or the EA18 B Growler use a they use a General Electric F414. They use two.
And Uncle Jim was asking for the Washingtonians, where are we at? I'm outside Olympia.
To answer your question, G, I just got done perusing through eBay. All kinds of Star Trek O-gauge stuff on there.
Is it like alien stuff, or is it just like
It's
a regular
just
train?
no, it's just stuff from the show. Just like some scenes, things like that. There's actually one really cool one that I hit the watch button on. It's an open box car, so basically the sides cut away on it, and it's supposed to be animated, it said, and it's actually got what looks like little Star Trek characters in it. So I don't know if they're set up on a little mechanism that makes them run around the box car or something while the train runs. I was like, that looks kind of cool. It's $100 box car, but I was like, I might have to snag that in the future. That was pretty sweet.
Honcho Fett's out there. Howdy, howdy. Said he had to sell his AH-64D. Cost too much to fly on the weekends.
Oh,
Should have got the electric version. Don't like the gas prices, right?
yeah, there you go. As citizens on the ground without a Navy's computer to measure the sound. They found that the Growler, or not the Growler, but the Prowler can be as loud as 134 decibels, considerably louder than the Growler. The Growler only made it up to like 100 1,620.
What's the threshold for hearing damage?
Not very long if you're not wearing double hearing protection for that.
Is that like 200 something decibels? Or is that too loud?
It's lower
That's
than
way up there. Yeah.
70 decibels above anything above 70 decibels over a prolonged period of time will start to damage your hearing. Loud noises above 120 can cause immediate harm to your ears.
Yeah, 120 is the immediate one. Right on, man. Cool. Somebody else knows sound.
And the reason why the growlers are not as loud as the prowlers are, it's mainly because, like, for example, they're the ones that are because they're Hornets, they have the ability to do what's called super cruise, which is basically just operate at Mach 1.2 without having to use full afterburner.
Didn't they try to sue the Navy over the sound?
The
noise?
Which state are you talking about? My state, Oregon, Portland.
NES would be.
I don't know about Whidbey, but I know Portland was complaining about the National Guard flying the F-15 Eagles. But at the same time, it's like you guys live near a major hub, and you have to have at least a couple of. Ever since 9/11, they've stationed a lot more 18 Eagles interceptors at main hub airports for that general purpose of shooting down aircraft that should have get hijacked. And the thing is, like, it's really interesting hearing them complain, because the thing is, it's like once or every 2 months that they have to do their drill weekend. For the most part, they're on standby.
Yeah, the prowlers, they're kind of cool because they can black out a city, basically jam a city.
Oh goodness, the stories I got told about the prowlers. It's a four-seat aircraft. You got your pilot, co-pilot, navigator, and then you got the flying Tron, as we call them. They were called. I think they were called. They weren't AWFs because that's fly engineers. They were called IFTs. And we called them flying Trons because they were basically air crew that were qualified to work on electronics. And during the initial invasions in Iraq and Afghanistan, one of the IFTs told my recruiter, who happened to be a Seabee, that one of the things that he liked to do with the Taliban was, once he took over their communications, so their walkie-talkies, he would play the theme song to Family Guy over their radios. And they could do all sorts of things with those electronic attacks. It's amazing. They could jam frequencies, take down frequencies, make frequencies not even exist on a radio. And if they get close enough to, if they're close enough, and they're not like, and when I mean close enough, they're not super high up, they can actually fry cell phones to an extent.
No shit.
Yep. They got a nickname though. They called them Flying Pigs because they sure ain't beautiful aircraft, but.
They did a Tiger cruise from Hawaii back to Bremerton. So I got to see a lot of, hear from a lot of the guys, see a lot of the equipment, and pretty cool. Got to play volleyball on the hangar deck. That was pretty cool. And when the Marines say clear a hole, you clear a hole. Otherwise, they will clear the hole.
I liked. What's real funny to me is that how the Marine Corps just willingly publishes their urban combat training combat manual, procedures manual, and the fact that they one of my favorite verses is that when negotiating or navigating entranceways, stairways, mouse holes, and etc., require extensive use of frag grenades. It's like, and the thing is, like, it's real funny because you look at what the other troops were doing, like the branches, the Army, the National Guard, and to a lesser extent the Air Force. They were all using flashbangs when they breached and kicked down doors, but the Marine Corps, their philosophy was, why can't, if I'm going to kick down your door, why should I stun you when I'm going to kill you anyways? So I'm just going to kill you. Like, frag out. Here's an M67. When FU doesn't get the point across.
Yeah, I got to hold an M60 too on that cruise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Marines had some of their stuff laid out on the table. So they let me hold it.
Judging by Google stats, I think I'd rather be an M60 gunner than be a 240 Bravo or a SAW gunner, to be honest. Just for the weight factor.
For me, I'm from that era. It's where I grew up, so that's, kind of an iconic gun for me.
That was nicknamed the Pig, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's kind of heavy.
It's real funny because the Bravo and the M249 SAW weigh significantly more.
Really?
Yeah, let's see here. I was looking it up. Let's look at the weight. So yeah, you got on the M60, it's a 23.15 pounds. The M240 Bravo is a 27.6 pounds, and the M249 SAW is actually it's lighter. It's like 22 pounds, but so it's about a pound, but it shoots. The 249 SAW it shoots 5.56 instead of 7.62. 80.
Another kind of cool thing on that trip was there were a bunch of cool things, I'll say. The F-18s, they had them, or no, it was the Tomcats. Everybody's standing up on the deck, and then you see one coming in, and you can see it from ways away, so everybody's watching it. And from behind us comes this one, hits supersonic right next to the ship. Boom! And then when the other one comes in, you can see it's got its landing gear down, flaps open, air brake open. So it was going slow. So everybody was watching that when the other one snuck up. Then the destroyer pulls up next to us, fires its 6-inch gun.
If they were 152s, I think those were 8-inch.
They only put 6-inch barrels on a battleship. You think they'd go all out and put the 8-inch barrels? Or...
and got to hear the Sea Whiz.
Oh yeah, Sea Whiz.
Yeah, you hear the first shot, you hear a roar, and then you hear the casings hit the deck. Ding, 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 ding.
What's really
Pretty
cool
awesome.
What's really cool is if it was gun calibers 203 millimeters, those are 8-inch guns, and then the 6 inches are the 152. So yeah, the 6-inch guns. But yeah, the Sea Whiz and all, and those 152 guns, what's really cool that if you're on a small boy and they do that stuff, the sailors would and Marines, they would keep the shell casings because once they're shot, they're shot. There was no reloading the brass casings for whatever reason, and they served as good, souvenirs to take back home because it was either come up and get them or come out and help toss them overboard, which sadly is just a little bit of a waste in my opinion.
Yeah, the Sea Whiz, it's a Gatling gun. If somebody doesn't know.
The Sea Whiz brass. I think they saved that. It's just the big guns like the 152s and the.
But its job, it's kind of the last defense where its job is to shoot a plane into pieces and then shoot the pieces into pieces. And I'm, it is honest to God, you cannot hear the individual rounds go off. You just hear a big roar. And this, this is for people who might not know.
Oh yeah, it's basically an A10 gun, is what it is, and a Sea Whiz flying like so. Some Army guys told me, like, I remember sometimes we would hear bam bam alert alert, missile incoming, and that thing would track that and just turn it into Swiss cheese, and just.
Yeah, and they've got because I rode the Nimitz. They have their own TV channel. So one of them is music videos, which is kind of the Navy stuff with rock music put to it. It was a lot of Bon Jovi at the time. And then there's also one camera on the flight deck so you could watch landing and takeoff. Watch the jet wash push guys around the deck.
I don't know if you guys remember this one, but I remember watching a YouTube video where it was during the 80s, and it was I think it was the Reagan era, and the anti-Russian, anti-communist mantra going on, and then there was I think one of our ships was I don't know where it was or what ship it was, but it was guaranteed for the simple fact that we were kind of in Russia's backyard where we were at, and it was a Russian ship started chasing us and actually rammed with its bow onto stern of a U.S. ship, and didn't cause really any damage or much damage. I think at the most it just bent a little bits of metal and scratched the paint, but that was at the most. And that's mainly because of the fact that where it hit was it kind of like because the Russian ship came up to on the port side of the stern, and they just kind of like just rubbed. It was more of a friction than it was a ram.
So to answer Uncle Jim, I do remember JP Patches. I have a bobblehead of JP Patches. JP Patches and Gertrude, a guy in drag, is dressed up as a clown. I have fond memories of JP Patches. It's a Northwest, kind of a local kids show from the 70s. And Korea Donna vlog, how's it going? Coming over from Bacon. Bacon brought us a friend. Always nice to meet new people. Where were we at? I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. It was, it was a 2-week trip. The Tiger Cruise was 2 weeks from Hawaii, stopped in San Diego, and then to Bremerton. It was an experience. And I got to, even though I was only on there for a short while, I got to experience the channel fever. I understand what channel fever is. Got to see it in action. That's when the ships get close to home, everybody gets irritable. That's what channel fever is. And probably the best roast beef I had was in the Chiefs mess on the Nimitz.
Well, of course.
They had king crab legs in the Chiefs mess.
The story is that if you're on deployment and you're on boat, you don't want to get served steak and lobster because that means deployment's getting extended. They try to butter you up with a good meal, which was really interesting. Talking with a couple of Navy guys when they went to go, they got attached onto a couple of Coast Guard cutters, and they told me that when they ate on some of the small blade destroyer galleys for the Coast Guard, they said they ate like kings. Not the Navy, nope. Bread and water.
I'd say the Chiefs ate pretty good. You know, it wasn't there. They had the for the enlisted men, there was the McNimitz, which had burgers and stuff like that.
McNimitz
down in their mess. But it was, you know, it was fun. It was a good experience. If anybody out there, younger people, if you hear this, you get a chance, or, you know, there were parents too that were doing it. It was fun. You know, it was probably fun too, because I ended up hanging out with some of the enlisted guys. You know, we played volleyball and stuff like that. So, you know, you get to see a lot, get to learn a lot about the Navy and the ships and stuff like that. Then, you know, they also have their dependence cruise, which is, you know, basically like a little shakedown cruise where they'll go out and tool around the bay or something like that for a day. So, and Korea Donna Vlogs said she subbed, I think. Yeah, done so. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we got another guy, Robert Moore. Ooh, he's got an A10 on his.
Oh, I don't like where that's pointed.
We were just kind of talking about A10s and stuff.
They had those out there when I was deployed to Okinawa. They had the A10s. And I would have thought the Air Force would take more pride in keeping those things secure, because like the way they keep them housed is they just have a structure where it's just a roof. There's no sides or anything to them. They just keep them out there in the open.
They had one at the Whitby Air Show.
Oh yeah,
that flew around, and it's amazing to see those turn.
The guns.
Well, no, the plane, how tight it can turn.
You would think those things would turn like a brick, but they really don't.
No, they spin around with, you know, it's amazing to see it. And then they fired their gun, and then they had some fake bombing runs where they set off munitions and this big blast, boom, and then you feel the heat hit you.
One of my favorite pieces of ordnance, at least as it relates to the platform I worked on, and I have no doubt that the A-10 could support this type of ordnance too. It's a Slammer and the Maverick missiles.
Yeah.
Slammers by far being my favorite, because, man, when those things launch, they just zip.
For the couple of people that just jumped in, if you type in hashtag MP17, type that out in the chat. We're going to do a giveaway for this Smith & Wesson knife. So we'll let it go a little bit, for just a little bit longer, and then we'll do the drawing. We've got 7 entries so far.
Do we get to show him the knife? Give him a tease?
What, you want me to show what's in the box?
Yeah. What's in the box?
It is
Show
one of
us what we
these. The M&P daggers.
Oh, one of the daggers.
Or,
Nice.
Yeah, the HRT daggers, I mean.
I was gonna ask, anyone have the Smith & Wesson's throwing knives at all? Anyone have a set?
Not me.
I just saw those the other day. Somebody had pictures of them.
I was wondering if they were worth it because cause sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not, because they got to be balanced real well to.
I thought, ooh, maybe I'll collect the Smith & Wesson knives, and then realized how many different, because I figured there maybe, half a dozen different ones, but God, there's a ton of different knives.
Yeah, Smith & Wesson makes about, 500 different type of knives for every handgun they make.
So we got 9 entries. Should we wait till see if we can get that 10th one, or should we just go?
I don't know. Should I enter?
Everybody's eligible.
I feel like that'd be cheating.
Well, hopefully everybody's eligible, because I don't know the knife laws in every state. So, and if this, for some reason, if I send this to you and it's not allowed, I don't know anything about this. So,
Yeah, you're just sending the box, right? There's nothing in it.
something like that.
Yep.
Oh, we got 10. All right.
Oh,
We're gonna
snap.
Oh, that was barbecue jumped in. So
I entered a long time ago. I mean, I did it again just for shits and giggles, but
Oh, hey, Mia wants to know, what do you do to enter? Just type in the chat, hashtag, like you see up on the banner here, hashtag MP17. Type that in. Just leave a comment saying that, and that'll enter you. So we'll give it a second so Mia can enter.
well,
Because she probably wants to stab midnight. So this is a good stabbing knife. It's nice and pointy. There we go. She got entered. So
I feel like I'm gonna win. I think I'm the only person that typed that.
let me share this so everybody can see what's going on here. There we go. We'll share that. All right. And
No whammies, big bucks, and
the goddamn bacon. So
Congratulations.
I didn't know.
Bacon.
I didn't know StreamYard has such a cool thing. That's neat.
shipping will be cheap.
You-
You can walk it to
Frankly,
him, probably.
Next door
Yeah.
neighbor.
So bacon, you can send me your address. Send it to the email down below, untacticalfoss@gmail.com.
I got robbed.
And I'll get that out this week.
Yeah, I kind of saw your name kind of pop up. I thought you got it for a second.
I feel like I had to forfeit it. I think I won Foss's last giveaway.
You won.
Yeah, bacon, you won. You won the knife. So send me your address send it to untacticalfoss@gmail.com, and I'll get it sent out this week. You're a winner.
I feel like he's in Vegas, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
No, he's in Washington. He's
Is he?
in Tacoma. He's up by Woods.
Oh, that poor fella.
Heck, you could
I
probably
mean, not the being by Woods part, the Tacoma part.
Heck, you could
So-
probably just go to the postal service. Is gonna have a hard time trying to screw this one up. Oh man.
So congratulations, the goddamn bacon.
feel like one day we're going to hear a story from from Woods, who's like, I found a whole bunch of bacon one time, ate it all up, and then we'll never hear from Bacon again.
Where are we at? All right. I don't know. Is there anything else that we want to talk about tonight?
Deep Space Nine sucks.
I still like it. I like Babylon 5 more, but I still like Deep Space Nine. The later seasons, when after Dax dies and they replace Dax with adorable little Dax, she's kind of annoying. She's
I like
no
Serenity.
Terry Farrell. I liked Serenity. I didn't get heavily into it. I just kind of watched it now and again. And the movie,
I would rather watch a Wesley Crusher spin-off show than Deep Space Nine.
He had a clip show for a short while on I think on E.
I seem to
Yeah.
remember something like that. He's also done for the new series. He did like kind of the special episode discussion things where they'd have the actors come in and tech team come in and stuff like that. Still annoying as hell. Deliver us from Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton was a little better. I liked him. I warmed up to him a little bit watching his clip show. And then him on The Big Bang Theory was pretty good. Him fighting with Sheldon.
Isn't he effectively Oliver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not quite as, Oliver was more of a late
And
series
then also
edition.
Oliver, and he's just always standing there.
Or, yeah.
Late season, late series. That's what you
Yeah.
would say, because it happened in the later seasons, I think.
Yeah, to try and boost ratings a little bit. And back to Firefly. I did not like the movie.
That's okay.
Because it was a barbecue where you
Yeah,
brought
it
up
was.
Firefly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
What'd
it's
you
an
think?
awesome movie.
Did
Yeah, I
you
really
listen
enjoyed
to
it.
the movie?
No, actually, the movie was out long before I lost my vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that came out when I was like 16. So, yeah. It's 12 years before I lost the eyesight.
Yeah, the killing off of the characters. That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, there's
See,
a
I just
few.
watched the movie. I didn't see the show. Guy at the video rental place was like, "Oh, you need to watch this. It's the new Star Wars." I was like, I guess I'll watch it.
It's not the
And I
new
was like,
Star.
"What the hell is this? This isn't the new Star Wars."
But the show was a season, so that movie is sort of a weird.
I thought it went 2
summarize the
seasons.
season. Oh, was it? It was a while, and that
I
movie
thought
though,
so, but
tries to summarize the whole, like, what do they call it when there's like a bigger story, where you add up all the episodes and then like a bigger story happens also, right? They try to take the bigger story from the episodes, from however many seasons it was, and then put it into one movie, and it doesn't quite work. And then don't they kill the guy in the one movie? Like for some reason, they kill the guy.
yeah. But the problem with the series on Fox was Fox aired the episodes out of sequence, so people were really confused, and it just killed
Well,
it.
the other problem is it was kind of after Xena and that kind of shit. And after worse than just being after Xena, it wasn't like in the splendor of everybody still was happy with Xena, but it was like after Hercules and the other Xena, and then the third version of whatever the shows. and then that one came out, so everybody I think thought of it as like another Xeno or something.
Mm.
At least that's when I remember that. I was trying to remember a long time ago, but I think I remember it being like that. Like it at the time when it came out, I was like, I'm never watching that. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I missed this show. It was so good.
Did anybody else watch Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo?
I did.
Never got to.
I
No, my
like it.
problem is that I don't like most of those shows. The Serenity / whatever we just said. What is it? Firefly?
Firefly.
That one is unique among them. Like for some reason, that one worked. A lot of the other ones seem more like local plays, that they put on videotape or something. Like some of them seem really cheesy, or the storylines were so complicated and shit that I just couldn't get it. Like Doctor Who was way too complicated for me. I could get Doctor Who, but I just couldn't keep up with whatever the hell was going on. They were expecting me to keep up with too much stuff.
Well, with Doctor Who, especially the older ones, you'd have like a 2-show story arc, 2 maybe 4, but they're a short story arc. So basically
like
it was
PBS back in the day.
What's that?
We were talking like when it was on PBS airing live back in the day. Yeah, like that's the problem is it would air and I would be like, I don't get what's going on, and then 3 episodes later it was something else. So it wasn't quite Star Trek where it was you could just watch each show separate.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't like I'm going to watch the whole season. So it was hard to get to the cadence of it, or like hard to catch up with it, because there was always a new critter, but it wasn't always a new critter. So I was like, oh shit, I'm trying to keep up with which things are consistent or not. Anyway, I just never got up with it.
Yeah, it was.
Also, some of the people that liked it, I didn't like. So they would sit there talking about it, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna hang out with them because we were talking about Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever else.
It's kind of all the story arcs are the same thing. He travels to somewhere, fights the bad guy, figures out how to defeat the bad guy, then they travel to somewhere else. Well, kind of traveling to somewhere, but end up somewhere, not where they.
Robert's trying to ask a real gun question. I don't know the gun, but some kind of gun with some kind of optic and some kind of trigger, and then.
Oh, I thought he was talking
for his wife. What the hell? I thought that's some kind of joke. Is that one of them triggers that goes faster than regular?
For Washington, binary triggers are illegal, so I've never fired a binary trigger.
Oh, I thought it was as a troll or whatever.
You need to travel to West Virginia.
I thought he was talking with Uncle Jim, so I.
Okay. I thought it was for us. Sorry. Because he said he was in the wrong chat. Maybe he's talking to Jim.
That's kind of a shame. I think everybody should be at least have the ability to experience the binary Trigger 1022.
I don't like them. I'd rather get rid of the NFA and just pull a trigger.
Fair enough.
I mean, seriously, I just think it's weird I've played with the bump stock when they were still around, and I forgot what the other thing, some kind of trigger that was years ago. And then we had a regular M16 and then just a regular AR that we could, with like a Geisley or something, that was just a nice trigger. So you can run a nice trigger really fast on the semi. So, especially when they got a good spring, like a good return spring, you can run it really fast, and you can 100% control when you stop. That's the main thing. But really, they thought that just seemed like the manual of arms was just too complicated. I can see what you're saying though, to just play with the 1022, especially nowadays now that everybody's spoiled with working 1022 mags that just feed reliably all the time. It's got to be like, I don't know what to call it, like a whole experience really.
Well, no, the thing is like, I don't know what your age category is. It's like, that I know for a fact for my dad, he said he despised the NFA and all these other acts, He says, in my lifetime, they probably aren't going to go away. In your lifetime, maybe. And then he told, hopefully in my nephew's lifetime, they will. So it's like asking a tyrant to stop being tyrannical at this point.
I don't know, hour and a half in, I'll get into that conversation, but I don't know if Foss wants me to get into that conversation. But I disagree. I think it's the other way around. I think that it could be simple as a Democrat just deciding to try a different flavor of their version of stuff, or one of the states like a Chicago or a Detroit or a St. Louis flipping strategies and becoming, just doing some different things so that they become a place for everybody else to follow the lead. And all it takes is an example, right? So all it takes is one of those cities to say, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and then to start seeing a change. And then all the other cities are going to rush all after themselves to try to do something different. And right now, their only example has been negative stuff. But as soon as they get a positive example, I think we could see a positive pendulum swing. And then once we get the positive,
I think there's potential. After, the latest Supreme Court rulings, that might be turning the tide there.
and we've got such a diverse new set of gun owners that are vocal about it. I mean, they've always been there. Ladies have always owned guns. It's just that now they know that they can hang out with other ladies and shoot guns, and their husbands can't do nothing about it. So once I've always said it, I've been recently saying it, try to take your gun away from your mom or your wife, set down the microphone and go try. That's what the politicians are trying to do now, is take the guns away from our wives and our moms and our daughters, I guess, but you don't have as much practice, but they don't have a chance in hell trying to take the guns away from our moms and our wives. So I think we could see it's a pendulum. We see it going in one direction for a long time or whatever, but there was nothing before 1968. It was literally nothing. You could just buy machine guns, on the back of NRA.
I thought the NFA was in effect in 1940. I thought that was a Roosevelt thing.
Well, 38 and the NFA, sure, but I'm saying as far as like FFLs and all the stuff that we're familiar with, all the stuff that we think is just part of it, none of that existed before 68. It's just all out of nowhere.
The FFLs and the background checks.
I mean, I'll get into specifics. Yeah, just like the experience that we have today is fairly engineered for the last 40, well, I guess I should start saying 50, 60 years, but still, it's something that can be removed with an eraser. It's not something that's there and it's complicated. It's only there because of the Interstate Commerce Clause, literally, and all these other things are just there because nobody's erased them yet. I'm just saying I don't think it's I don't say it's a given, but I don't think it's unrealistic either. I think we could totally see a switch just because they're trying to take so much away right now that I don't think they realize who they're trying to take so much away from anymore.
I don't deny the plausibility of something happening either.
Yeah, that's a good word, plausibility. Like, it's plausible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just saying there are at least some percent chance, a decent percent chance, not more than 50, but it's there that it could happen.
It's just that there's so many damn hurdles in the way, and it's like, currently right now that my state, Oregon's facing right now, is we got the choice between three different governor-elects. We got a lifelong Democrat that's running on the independent ballot, Betsy Johnson. And then we got Tina Kotek, that's the Democratic nominee. And then we got Christine Drazan, the Republican nominee. And it's Oregon's first, where all the nominees are nothing but outright women. And in that regard. And the thing is that, the way it just kind of goes for my state, the way I see it, living in Columbia County, is that Portland, Salem, Eugene, Corvallis, the big urban cities dictate the policy for all the basically for the entire state, and trying to get Portland to vote for anything other that's, other than a Democrat, it's kind of rough. And that's why I'm kind of like, I'm looking at the polling between, the Republican candidate right now, and it looks like they oversampled Republicans in the recent poll, and not enough independents and opposite, registered Democrats. And that's where I'm kind of sitting there is that I'm sitting here, we got as far as I'm concerned, as far as our options go, we got two really good options, Drazan and Johnson. But like I said before, trying to get Portland to kind of shy away, I think Portland above all else, would vote for an independent party than they would vote for, the Republican Party. That's for darn sure, I think. And to answer Bacon's question, yes, Kate Brown's currently the governor of Oregon, and Tina Kotek is basically just a copy paste of Kate Brown.
For for gun rights, just remember that we've got half the states are constitutional carry states now, half of them, which last year I would not have believed that, or maybe 2 years ago, we'll say. And then with the Bruin and the EPA ruling, those that shows the way things are going, despite what you're hearing from the news and the propaganda against guns that you hear. So, and I'm in Washington, so I understand what you go through being in Oregon.
Local setbacks.
To be honest, I think you guys have it harder than Oregonians right now as far as it goes with guns right now.
I agree.
Ever since the 1639 passed, it just made things absolutely you guys.
It did, but with the Supreme Court rulings, there's a lot of the stuff that they want to push will be ruled unconstitutional.
That or put on the back burner at least, because I think, and I remember Yankee was talking about this, and I very agree with him that the assault weapons ban, that's just going to be put into committee or left on the burner. They know it's political suicide.
What do you think about that theory that by doing it, they tie up stuff long enough for everybody to disrupt the industry, to mess with a bunch of businesses, to bankrupt stuff, and to dissuade people from wanting to be owners, that kind of strategy, instead of saying, oh, we think this is an end run, this is a disruptor.
That too, yeah. Try to keep people from becoming owners by starving the market.
I don't think it's the core reasoning. I think it's just one of the,
it's like a benefit.
They are willing to throw everything they can, just because there's no downside for them. Really.
I think the other icing or another like juicy layer of frosting in the middle, or maybe like a layer of cherries if you'd rather have that, but some kind of a tasty middle layer that's unexpected but beneficial for them, is that everybody's spending a ton of money, and I want to know how many of the people in Congress are stockholders in the companies that are about to get massive, purchases or sales or whatever.
That's an interesting question, because you hear politicians rail against the oil companies, but a lot of them have oil companies in their portfolios.
Oh yeah, and it's almost like if you look at it from a 30,000-foot view and you try not to put on it, or you put on tinfoil hat and you try not to look at it, it's like, oh, look at how this and this and this and this, they just one thing after another, and they all brought in money for these different industries. I was just looking at some numbers from because the Massachusetts just put out a study or a report or whatever. Somebody did some research in the sales over the span from, I guess it would have been Bush through Obama through Trump and then now into Biden, and it's basically an up, what am I trying to say? Like a chart that goes from the bottom left to the top right. Like more and more guns getting sold, except during the Trump administration, instead of being a line going straight up, it drops, goes down for a while and remains steady, and then it goes right back up again when Biden comes back. So basically it's steady growth with a period of, the lack of growth and actually a decline in demand. And you can see that that's the opposite. And, what's the tendency now, or what's the direction going to go now that, one, they made it so that certain states like California might drop their roster and have ability for 7 million gun owners to pull guns from the market And then 2, threaten everybody with not being able to buy guns tomorrow. Or,
Well, that happens, every time. The 94 assault weapons ban. That is the reason that the AR-15 is now the most popular rifle.
Right.
You can't have this, and then as soon as everybody could have it, everybody said, "Well, they said we couldn't have it. There's something about this. I want this."
You can't have this except for these, and now you can have as many as you want.
Yeah. And then every time there's a threat of something being banned or, sales will skyrocket.
And that's why that we saw the industry went real bad under Trump because people felt relaxed and weren't feeling like their rights were going to get taken away tomorrow.
Michael Dunn's out there. How's it going? So every time there's, they ban this or, outlaw that, eventually that leads to more of whatever they said they wanted to ban being out there because people are going to buy them. If they would have left all this alone, I don't believe there would be, half the amount of guns out there now.
Now, if they would have not done any of this stuff, all the time and attention from however many gun owners and people that hate guns, because they're spending just as much time, getting all excited thinking that something's going to happen or happen to them, right? So if you would have taken that off of the table, what would people have been paying attention to? Gas, the border, Ukraine, abortion, the economy, food prices. Should I shut up or should I keep going? You know what I mean? Like, they kept all of us, or they have kept us all off the table effectively by threatening something that we all find fundamentally important.
So I'm going to go a little tinfoil hat because I've said this for many years to just people around here. What if it's, they really don't care about getting rid of guns? What if it's all just to generate revenue? Because think about 2020, 28 million background checks conducted. That doesn't mean just 28 million guns sold. That's just individual background checks. How many of those background checks had multiple firearms on them? Say the average gun purchase was $500. You can do the math on that. Let's say each person bought just one box of ammo at that point. That's 28 million boxes of ammo. And then the list goes on and on and on. That's a lot of tax revenue generated. That's a lot of just revenue in general.
And it's dependable, right? That's why I call us a mechanism. They know that they can threaten us and pull money out of thin air because we're
I disagree. The way I think is that the government as an entity views gun ownership as a threat. It's a threat to their power. That's why they don't want people to have guns. They want to eliminate that threat.
It's really interesting how this country is so designed to be such a big can of worms for any would-be tyrant that wants to disarm or do this and subjugate. Like, they tried doing one way to ban this and get rid of that. They open up this can of worms that's going to cause them problems.
Yeah. America, the U.S. is a little bit different from other countries, partly because of our government, that we have, and then partly because of the makeup, the people within the government. We have such a diverse society compared to other countries that people hold up as example. Japan. Well, Japan is Japanese. If you're not Japanese, you're not Japanese.
And people that aren't Japanese conform to the Japanese culture traditionally when they go there, or typically when they go there, right? They don't go there and then disrupt Japan.
Exactly. And you tried, and that's one thing I learned real quickly. If you're a foreigner and you try to disrupt, the Bushido culture over there, you're gonna get shunned real freaking quick.
But it's like that in a lot of countries, right? Like if you went to someplace in any continent, sat down and started being American, they start looking at us like, you jerks, you're imperializing us. Leave us alone. We want to be like the way we are.
So, there are, I lost the point, but I'll just say hello to Abigail, who's out there.
Well, you're saying that they're monolithic cultures
Yeah.
compared to our wherever we call us mixing pot.
Or when they give an example of a European country, it's a mainly white European country that they're pointing out. So basically they're saying if our country was more white, it would be
Well, they're
better.
also pointing out socialist countries or
Yeah.
almost socialist, where everybody's like, yeah, the state takes care of our health and our vacations, and they take care of what jobs we're going to do, and oh yeah, they take care of our guns and our toothbrushes too.
Well, and at the same time, like how many of these white European countries, like how much of their GP and their like how much like what's their tax ratio? Like them what's it, Finland? It's like some 57
40%.
like
Yeah, Sweden.
57% on their tax ratio, and then they want to sit here and get on their soapboxes and mock us. Oh, you Americans, you spend all this money on defense, but you can't even put in for universal health care. Well, I'm sorry. For the last how many 60 plus years have we been pulling the slack on the NATO alliance here? I mean, come on now. Some of these European nations, they're not pitching in a dime for their own defense. But if the United States pulls out tomorrow, they're fucked.
Where does everybody want to go? Here.
Yep.
This is where everybody wants to go. Which
It's not Singapore or Taiwan or
a couple of years ago it was Canada
or Brazil.
But all those people that wanted to go to Canada changed their mind all of a sudden. I don't know why.
Well, and that's another thing, that's the benefit of being these nations, a part of the European alliance and then the NATO alliance, and then you got Canada. The reason why Canada can afford, universal health care right now, it's probably because of the fact that it's not bordering Russia or China, because in any other circumstance, China and Russia would have just marched straight up and subjugated their, put them in shackles and chains and just made them slaves.
Probably helps that they have no people.
Well, they have that too. Their population density. Unless you go into Toronto, every other province, it's like you're lucky if you even see 10 people at one spot.
I think that what happens is those moose up there, we're not used to having them here because they would be taught a lesson, but because they have their way with the Canadians, they bully the Canadians, and they aren't used to standing up for themselves because of the moose problems. So then the government comes along, acts like a moose, and they do whatever they're told.
Yep.
I haven't met that many Canadians, but I'm assuming that's how it happened with Canada.
Well, they operate on a maple syrup economy. So.
Mm-hmm. And luckily for them, Americans are super fat and love our maple syrup.
Well, now they got a lot of different cultures for there too, because it's part English, part French. And it's got a real weird blend of Americanism in it, too.
Only 38 million people in Canada as residents in 2020.
30 in the whole country?
There's more
million.
There's more people in California.
Yeah, there's 40 million in California last time we looked.
Yeah.
And they all live within you can take a rock and wing it into the Canadian border, and that's how far they live north, right? None of them live that far north.
Yeah.
Apart from the indigenous peoples that in there.
Well, yeah. But still, they don't live everywhere. I don't think in the middle of everything. That's just Arctic.
Yep.
If you want to live, you got to live on a coast or something.
What really surprised me was hearing that there's some indigenous people that lives out in the Siberia areas of Russia that then they have guns, and I'm like, really? And Russia just lets them have guns and ammunition? And it's apparently so, because they're just quite content just living out there and shooting animals and eating tree bark.
Russia doesn't like to mess around out there too much. Although, let that rip open again, then everybody's going to be hurting.
Does anybody else barely hear barbecue, or is it just me?
Oh, interesting.
I can hear him.
I got a lot of fans on, so it could be.
Is my mic not very loud?
No, you're fine. You're louder than barbecue.
How am I now?
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's really weird because I think I'm not talking, but when I look at the little white shadowy thing around my little circle, I keep thinking that it's not. It's
No,
not
you're
as loud because I see G-Webs and his blooms out about as big as the
Or as the
moon.
way you're used to hearing it, you're 5x5.
Oh,
All right, how does the Navy say it? You blink it in semaphore or something? I don't know how to do that.
oh, semaphore. Yeah. Use an Atlas lamp.
Do you all have to know how to learn that?
Those are actually that's actually its own separate rate, and realistically, we don't use that anymore.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's not something you learn in whatever your basic is or something.
No, well, in basic we learn certain flags and signals and what they mean. Like whenever the Papa flag is raised, that means they're recalling all sailors that are on Liberty back to the ship.
Well, that makes sense. You don't have to learn like that whole giant box of them, but you got to learn like the important.
You gotta know the important ones because that way that some shit's going down or happening and you need to go. Like for example, there was one time where one of our ships they pulled into one of the ports, and I don't even know if Turkey even has a port, does it? But there was
They
one
have a port, but it's completely full of shotguns now.
Yeah, and the thing and the thing is that there was one point in time where we were pulling in, and there wasn't any fuss about it. And the thing is, generally with Turkey, then like there was a short period of time where Liberty was allowed off base and off ship, but years later, and then you have the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, and given the fact that it's a predominantly Islamic country, they started to become more hostile to us, and instantly after a couple of instances, Liberty just started getting revoked, and Papa flags immediately were getting put up on the ships as they were pulling into port. Like, you guys are not authorized to leave the freaking ship or the base, because we know that if you do, you're either going to get kidnapped and abducted by ISIS or worse. So.
So we're closing in on the 2-hour mark, so I think we're going to close her down. Iron Road.
Yes, sir.
You have anything you want to plug? Plug something. Make some videos. Educate people.
I'm not too much of a YouTuber, but I just load things up that I think are cool in the moment. So if you guys feel like I am subscribe worthy, go ahead and subscribe to me at Iron Road at YouTube. I got a couple of videos up.
Make a comment out there.
But,
leave a comment, then I can.
All I have to say is aim straight, keep them in the 10 ring.
Yeah, just type something out in the chat.
Oh, type something out in the chat. Oh,
yeah.
I actually don't have a tab out there. A tab open for the YouTube chat.
Oh.
Now I got him.
I got him.
Let's see. Here we go.
Well, I want to give him a wrench, so I just need him to type something so I can do that.
There we go. I typed out, hey.
That'll work.
There's your channel link for people who want to subscribe.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the. I didn't understand the what you were asking me.
Oh, no problem. So you got a wrench now. So anytime you want to drop a link or something, you can.
Okay, cool.
Guns and Barbecue. What you got going on? You've been doing a series of This Is or the.
What is a? Yeah, I've finally gotten back to that series after a very long hiatus from it. By the way, I'm now Iron Road's 15th subscriber. So I just wanted everybody to know that I'm number 15. So, but yeah, no problem. Been hitting that series again. Hopefully I'll be able to keep up with it. I think I've got one more video pre-recorded to launch on Monday. Then I need to go do some more pre-records. That's one nice thing about those is they're aimed to be 5 minutes or less. So when I do the recordings, I can, if I plan everything out, I should be able to, do a handful at once and just kind of sit on them. So, but yeah, you got the Thursday show tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really have anything else happening. I'd like to remind everybody, if you have an Every Second Matters shirt, you can wear it on other days other than the 2nd of the month, like I did today. You never know what will happen. Thanks for having me, Foss.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate you coming in. DJ.
Saturday evening on the A Great Start Shooting School channel, dropping the link in the text chat right now. Join the conversation. It's usually a good one. Find some inspiration, find some friends. And until I see y'all again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and raw.
And hold on. I forgot to do this. So gearwebsites.com for patches, stickers, t-shirts, and other 2A related merchandise. You have anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
Thanks for the link and for hosting each week on Wednesdays and then every other Saturday for the overnight show. This is we've got a thunderstorm coming in, so I don't know. It's either going to hit us or it's just going to barely miss us. But I'm getting a bunch of thunder one way or the other, and the dog's freaking out. So just a reminder, if you got a little puppy over there, wherever you're at, or I guess this will apply to kittens. But if you got a little puppy over there, grab that little puppy, hug it, maybe give it some kind of a wiggle and a belly rubbing.
That's like the one song I like from Who's Its Face, the Thunder Rolls.
Oh,
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks. That's the only Garth Brooks song I like. It's that song.
What about Johnny Cash?
Well, he covered everybody. He sung every song there is to sing. Every genre of songs he's covered. So, yeah. Baron, anything you want to plug?
Nope. I got nothing.
Alrighty, that makes it simple. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that's been on the panel. And thank you to everybody that's been out there in the chat, whether you commented or not. I still appreciate you being out there participating.
It just thundered for like an hour. It seemed like I've never heard so many thunders at one time. I just threw that microphone up. I wondered if anybody could hear it.
And those who watch this in replay, appreciate you too. Leave a comment. Let me know you're out there. So not this weekend, but the weekend after will be the next overnight. Don't have a clue what we're going to talk about. Usually don't. But
AR-15s.
Well, then, since you helped introduce to me or Sharon to me, I've got Sharon on Monday on the Daily Gun Show over, late night, and then that's kind of like the overnight. It's the day after, day after the day after. Anyway, I'll have her on, maybe with Jake.
Ooh, cool. So on that note, just like to say thank you to everybody and have a good night.